This is Weather or Not.
All right, welcome into this Wednesday edition of Weather or Not. Today is kind of the transition day as we go from warm to much colder.
Yeah, milder temperatures today. We were talking the 70s. We had a little bit of rain this morning as well, but let's go ahead and give the first alert to the three things that are coming our way.
Yeah, and of course that means here comes the chill. It comes blowing in here in a big way overnight tonight.
Yeah, and how about the frost threat that's going to develop as we head into the weekend? Going to be a story for some of you inland.
Yeah, we'll be watching that as well as the wind chill, which is going to be making a comeback. And also, the run up to Thanksgiving is on now. We'll be checking out the forecast here as we head into the days leading up to Thanksgiving. Let's jump into it, though. That chilly into the week. Those showers that we had out there this morning, those are now over and done. That cold front comes barreling through here overnight tonight.
Yeah, cold front's going to be moving through. The wind will begin to pick up as we go into the forecast. So when you look at these temperatures, these are highs.
Yeah.
We're sitting in the mid to upper 50s. Of course, factor in the wind, though, feeling anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees colder, even through the afternoons these next couple of days.
Yeah, and then sort of the core of the chill as far as daytime temperatures comes in heading into the day on Friday. We're going to struggle our way into the mid 50s, and that gusty wind is going to continue. But of course, with 50s by day, we're talking about some chilly nights and that wind chill. Feels good to say wind chill again.
It's good for the soul.
It is. It's a lot better than talking about the heat index. Now, tomorrow morning's wind chill, not terrible. We'll have temperatures generally into the low to mid 40s, feeling more like the upper 30s to low 40s with that gusty wind to start the day on Thursday. Friday morning, though, it's getting kind of winter-like.
I love this. Hot cup of coffee, maybe 2 or 3. The heavier jacket or maybe even a little light coat as you step out the door. Feeling like the 30s out there as you step out on Friday morning. No wind, or with the wind, no frost potential there on your Friday, but that begins to change as we head into the forecast for the weekend.
Yeah, so sort of an interesting setup here is once we head into the weekend, daytime temperatures actually creep up a bit. But at night, with the winds finally calming down, that's when we'll see some of our chillier temperatures settling in. And notice Friday night, we're looking good okay across the beaches, upper 30s to low 40s, not cold enough for frost, but notice inland, there's some 34s, 35s, 36s showing up. That is certainly chilly enough for some of that patchy frost.
And the big story is where are those temperatures going to set up and how much frost will we see? With calm enough winds, we do expect patchy frost inland, but you get into the lower 30s, you get past 35 into 34. We could actually see some widespread frost in some locations as we head into those inland areas on Saturday night and into your Sunday morning.
Yeah, and we have a couple of cold thermometers, as I call them, around our area.
Conway being one.
Yeah, that tend to be a little bit colder than anywhere else. So places like Conway, Kingstree, Bennettsville, and Hartsville oftentimes can get pretty cold in this kind of a setup. I would take a couple degrees off those numbers you're seeing on the maps there. I think we'll have a couple of 32s and 33s showing up in at least a couple of spots. And we're actually overdue for our first frost of the season. Typically, once you get up there by Lumberton near the border, it's as early as late November that we typically see that first frost. Here across the Grand Strand, that average first frost date has come and gone, and we still haven't seen one.
And it makes sense, too. We haven't really had a ton of powerful cold fronts, but that's changing, obviously, with the one moving through today, and then eventually we should see more of those, maybe even one as we head toward next week. Let's talk about next week, shall we?
Yes.
That sneak peek for one of the best holidays. For sure.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving. And I do want to say take this forecast with a grain of salt.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that.
I was up looking at some stuff earlier this morning.
This morning, yep.
Latest data coming in. It's like, well, is it going to be in the 60s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cold front comes through, and this is where I said that powerful cold front. There's some data that suggests maybe the 50s coming in as we go into the forecast for Thanksgiving, maybe Black Friday, and it's all going to be timing based with the cold front. Does cold front come through Wednesday night? Is it more of a Thursday evening? What will that look like? And of course, that will bring in some rain for some portion of the end of next week.
Yeah, so overall, I'd say changeable and unsettled as we head through the big travel day, Thanksgiving, and Black Friday itself. But again, don't hold on to these numbers as the gospel. Yeah. They're probably going to change a bit.
And they will change, and we'll be here for that, of course, for the next couple of days here, or whether or not, and on that First Alert weather app. Let's go ahead, shall we, and talk about coast to coast. Let's take you to those temperature extremes from yesterday. You know we do the weather, right? I'm not a good reader. Do you know how to pronounce the first one in Texas?
Yeah, of course.
How?
Hidalgo.
Oh, okay, Hidalgo. That's what I was going to say, but I wanted to make sure. Fun fact about that one. I actually got some fun facts this time. The largest killer bee sculpture is in Hidalgo, Texas.
A sculpture.
Yeah, a sculpture.
For killer bees.
Yeah, I mean, it's massive too. Taller, probably two of you put together for a killer bee there.
Why is there a
Hidalgo,
statue
Texas.
to killer bees?
Listen, I don't know.
We'll have to get Jenna on that, our
It's
investigative
98
reporter.
degrees.
And then check out McKay, Idaho, 21 degrees below zero.
Man, they call it the hidden gem, and it's 3 hours west of Yellowstone.
3 hours west of Yellowstone, so that's going to put it near Stanley,
Yep,
Idaho,
it's literally right around that area.
which had some big snow earlier in the week, and then the skies cleared out, and that's when those temperatures can really fall out there in the west.
Negative 21. Also, it sits in a valley too, so
Cold air
negative
drains
21.
down. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, let's take it coast to coast, shall we? We talked about the cold front moving through. That's going to leave us with clear skies as we go to the forecast. And you'll notice that low pressure system behind the system, that's actually bringing rain and eventually snow to portions of the mountains. But for us here in the southeast, just a nice, cooler weather pattern, very windy area wide with temperatures in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, and again, feeling colder though, thanks to that gusty wind, at times up around 25 to 30 miles per hour locally as we head into the day tomorrow. Let's take you into the Northeast. This is where the action is going to be. Notice a lot of that green there from State College to Altoona to Clarksburg to Charleston, West Virginia, down to Bluefield, West Virginia. That's going to be snow.
I can't wait for this. We've been talking about it. Where will it happen? When will it happen? It's looking likely that we see the first snow for the mountains in North Carolina. West Virginia also picking up on snow, and you can already start to see some of the winter storm warnings coming out, not to mention winter weather advisories as well, especially with higher elevations. This is going to be Thursday through early Friday for the timing of this system.
Yeah, notice that winter storm warning there in central and northern sections of West Virginia. That's up there around Snowshoe, and they are likely to be one of the big winners as far as snowfall. Look at it adding up there. Where you see the pinks showing up, maybe Snowshoe coming in with a foot of snow there into extreme western Maryland. You know that little tiny county in western Maryland?
No, not Western
That
Maryland.
is Garrett County, Maryland. Way up high, and they also
Why
get
do
a
you know
lot
that?
of big snow. I'm a little geography freak. Also notice another bullseye of heavy snow there from Scranton, PA, maybe just west of Poughkeepsie, New York. They may get in on some big snow as well. Most of that, again, coming as we head into Thursday night, Friday, potentially all the way into early Saturday. So yeah, a lot of folks going to be picking up the first real flakes of the season, and with it, well, we see those cold temperatures, generally into the 30s and 40s. What you're not seeing there are those really colder temperatures, though, up in the mountains of West Virginia, likely going to be in the 20s and 30s. Same thing into the mountains, all the way into Pennsylvania and New York.
Yeah, as they go into the overtime the night, you're talking about the teens and some of those mountaintops as we go into tomorrow night. Let's take you out to the Midwest. You'll notice there's that dynamic low pressure system, and you can see how the snow is basically pivoting around that circulation, eventually bringing the snow all the way across portions of Indiana into Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky. For areas further west, you're actually escaped with that cold air coming in, though, across Nebraska and portions of Kansas. Those temperatures are just as cold, and you'll start to notice even the 20s as you go up into Bismarck. How about 33 there as you go into portions, how do we say that wrong?
Where?
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls. My brain
Which,
this morning.
fun fact, so there's Sioux Falls, S-I-O-U-X. That's in South Dakota. You go up into the northern part of Michigan, you have S-A-U-L-T, but pronounced the same. Sioux Falls, Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, I would have butchered that one too. 40s coming through there as we go into Iowa, 39 in Cedar Rapids. I'll stick to the weather. You could do
And
the geography.
Yeah, 46 in Sault Ste. Marie. Let's take you into the Southwest. Not a lot going on here. Oklahoma down into Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, all looking pretty quiet. Couple of clouds. Overall, though, no real significant weather there. Just lots of clear skies, lots of dry air. And temperatures not too bad, generally sitting into the 60s and 70s. The West Coast, boy,
Yes.
has there been some action out here.
This has certainly been the big talker. You hear the term bomb cyclone, and remember that talks about pressure dropping with this system. And this system, strong low pressure working in, not only bringing the rain and the wind, but also bringing some snow as we go into the forecast for the end of the week. That's going to be a big one. Let's go ahead and show you, though, the temperatures as we look into that. Yeah, the temperatures wrapping up at the higher elevations. You have 30s and 40s. Meanwhile, you have 50 in Boise. You have 57 in Salt Lake City. And the warmer air being pulled in within that system, providing from 70s and 80s across portions of California and Arizona.
Yeah, let's talk a bit more about that bomb cyclone, though. Yeah, how about the pressure with that system of 940 millibars? That's about the equivalent of a strong Category 3 hurricane offshore of Washington earlier today. That brought a lot of wind down in the low elevations, but once you head up into the high elevations there of the Cascades, not only wind, but a lot of snow, and as a result, blizzard warnings issued. The Cascades typically get a lot of snow, but they don't typically get a lot of snow and wind together, resulting in those blizzard conditions. This is only the second time in 10 years that there have been blizzard warnings there for parts of the Cascades, including, another geography nugget here, Snoqualmie Pass.
Snoqualmie Pass, what a fitting name.
Snoqualmie Pass, that's west of Seattle as you go up and into the Cascades, dealing with those blizzard conditions there. And again, the strong winds down in the valley, I think at the peak around 500,000 without power in and around the Seattle area, thanks primarily to those strong winds. Speaking of winds and snow and winter, the Farmer's Almanac has come out with its winter outlook. The Farmer's Almanac. Yeah, let's break it down. Let's talk about the accuracy of the Farmer's Almanac. Meteorologist Matt Bullock standing by with the latest on that.
We talk about it every year, but it's always a great talker. The Old Farmer's Almanac winter forecast came out a couple months ago, and here's what they're expecting for our winter season. You can see a lot of blues all across the nation. Here along the Grand Strand of the Pee, the Old Farmer's Almanac is expecting a cool and wet winter. In the Midlands to upstate, mild and wet, and then along the Appalachian Mountains, a mild and snowy winter. But can you really trust this? I mean, honestly, looking at the last 10 years, the Old Farmer's Almanac has been a tough time forecasting the winter. Last year, it was forecasting a cold and wet winter season. That was not the case. It was a warm and dry winter. The last time that the Old Farmer's Almanac got the winter correct dates back all the way to 2019 going into 2020, where they forecasted a cold and wet season, and that actually happened. Other than that, the last 10 years, it's got 10 out of 20 correct, just a 50% accuracy. Now, NOAA came out with their winter outlook. They're forecasting above normal season thanks to La Nina. This will also bring a little bit of a drier weather pattern. So NOAA is forecasting a warm and dry winter season, while Old Farmer's Almanac is forecasting another cold and wet winter season. But for the most accurate forecast, be sure to download the WNBF First Alert weather app.
I mean, 50% accuracy.
Is that what we? Is that
about as good as you?
I was waiting for it. Listen, if you're upset with the winter forecast, you know who we can direct them to now.
Yeah.
Meteorologist Matt Bullock.
Yeah.
So you're not going to hear a prediction come from me.
And you know what? Bring it on Farmer's Almanac after the NOAA outlook for last winter.
Oof, trash.
Garbage. You know, hey, equal chances that the Almanac is going to nail it. So we'll see.
I can tell you what it will be for this winter. It will be cold at some point.
And probably warm, and I guarantee you it's going to rain.
That's our 50% accuracy there. Let's go ahead and take you to See It, Snap It, Send It. Let's go to something maybe that we know a little bit more of, and it's those beautiful sunrises. Our dear friend Mark Moore sending this one in, and it's always lovely when you can take the pier, you put the sunrise in between some of those columns. This is up in Cherry Grove, not to mention the clouds also.
Yeah.
Mark, you're so good at what you do.
And he is so dedicated.
Every morning.
Every single morning like clockwork. It doesn't matter if it's pouring rain or windy or cold or beautiful. He is out there and he's going to send a picture of something weather related.
And it's Mark, the reason why this segment right here is created. So Mark, thank you very much. Let's take it to the next one, shall we? Look at Tina, another one dedicated.
Tina, another dedicated photographer here of our area. And look at the colors in that sky there. Love that contrast. The gray, the blue, the oranges, the yellows. Yeah, that may be some painting inspiration. I love that.
I was about to say, you could definitely
Yeah,
paint
I like
this.
that.
Tina and Mark, thank you so much. Want to remind you can always send your photos to us by scanning this QR code. That will take you to download the WNBF First Alert Weather app. And as we tell people, scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's a Submit a Photo tab there. You can do it straight from your phone. And who knows, maybe one day you can get your photo here. I would love to showcase some of your Thanksgiving feast, even if it's after.
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah, we
see
should
what
do
we're
that. We
gonna
should
get,
do that.
right?
Yeah. So tomorrow we're Jenna, our investigative reporter. We're going to send her on to bomb cyclone and bombogenesis.
Yeah. Sioux
Yeah.
Falls bombogenesis.
Yeah.
A lot of things we can't pronounce today. It's the Wednesday edition, and of course, we look forward to you tomorrow on Thursday, 1 week from Thanksgiving. We'll kind of fine tune that changeable forecast, but for now, that does it for us.
That'll do it. We'll see you back here for the Thursday episode of Whether or Not.